Hey everybody, it is Kyle Dine here from Equal Eats, and I am absolutely thrilled to be joined by Mia Silverman today. Hey Mia, how are you?
Hey Kyle, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing great. It's been a couple years since we actually met and saw each other at the Free to Be Me event in Toronto, which was awesome, wasn't it?
It was epic. It was so great meeting you. And it has been what, 2, 3 years now since that
I think
event. So
so.
it's been a minute, but it was
And
so great.
I remember I had one of my worst allergic reactions that weekend, and you were one of the people that really just comforted me that weekend. And I just really appreciate all of that support. Appreciate you, all that you're doing under the handle at Allergies with Mia, and all of the crazy things that you're doing these days. Podcasts, you're doing a master's degree. There's so much going on, but to start off, maybe just introduce yourself, your food allergies, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Mia Silverman. I am from Boston, but I now live in New York City for graduate school. And I am a food allergy advocate. I've been doing food allergy advocacy now for about 6 to 7 years. And have had allergies my entire life. I'm kind of just showcasing on the internet, how I navigate my allergies every day, how I travel, how I go to restaurants, just overall showcasing that you can live a positive and fulfilling life despite having so many allergies. And I'll list my allergies, but there's a lot. I have over 50, but the ones that are the most severe are all nuts except for tree nuts all nuts except for almond and macadamia. Those are two nuts that I recently outgrew, which is super exciting. And then I'm allergic to basically, yes, I'm basically allergic to all seeds except for like sunflower seed oil I can have, and then fennel seeds. Any other seed is a big no-no. Um, and then I'm allergic to dairy unless it's cooked like cheese on a pizza or in a baked dish because when you cook it for a long time, it I guess denatures the specific proteins that I'm allergic to. Just some like basic chemistry 101. And then I'm also allergic to egg, kind of in the same vein where if it's like I can have it if it's baked in a cake or a cupcake, but any other form, like a cookie, it's not baked long enough apparently, so I can't have it, or I can't have it scrambled. It has to be baked into something for a long period of time. I'm allergic to basically all seafood except for tuna or cod if it's cooked for a very long time. And then I'm allergic to eggplant, zucchini, then a bunch of random fruits like peaches, pears, cherries, watermelon, kiwi, like the list goes on with that. And then just some random food dyes and seasonings. But that's kind of like I've had this again my whole life. So to me, it's kind of the norm. I'm used, but to others like this is totally insane. But I've been able to make it work for 23 years, and so that's a win. So
So,
yeah.
when did it all start? When were you diagnosed? Have allergies come, gone? How did you get to this point of clarity that where you are now?
Yeah, so apparently when I was a baby, I was very colicky. I'd cry all the time, and apparently it's because I was having stomach aches to dairy. But it wasn't until my dad came home from work one day when I was about almost 2, and he brought these cookies that had pistachios in them. At the time, my parents knew that allergies existed, obviously, but they didn't know, I guess, the extent of how severe it can be, let alone when it happens to your own child. That's obviously when it hits different when it's your own kid. And so as any kid would do, they would eat the cookie because why wouldn't you eat the cookie? And so I ate the cookie and, within probably 10, 15 minutes, I went into a full-blown anaphylactic reaction. I was just covered in hives, unable to really breathe. I was like wheezing, trying to get out, like say something, vomiting profusely, just like kind of the standard, most like traditional anaphylactic reaction you can kind of think of. That's what I went through. So my parents called 911 as you're supposed to, and they came and administered epinephrine and sent me to the hospital with my dad. My mom just gave birth like a few months ago, so she was not able to go. And so they referred me to an allergist. They did a lot of different testing and they found all these allergies I'm allergic to. And we've done lots of food challenges over the years and just me eating random foods and then reacting to it. So a lot of it was really just trial and error. And so I would say, like, that around that time and kind of, I'd say really I kind of understand my allergies now for what they are, probably in my 20s. I feel like for the first like half of my majority of my life, it was really complicated because I would just become allergic to the most random things. My allergies would kind of come and go sometimes. So for example, dairy is one of the most bizarre allergies I have because I used to be allergic to it and then I outgrew it, then I became allergic to it again, then I outgrew it, and then allergic to it again, and I recently now can tolerate it if it's cooked. So I have a very complicated allergy story. My doctors have labeled me as a medically complex patient because of it, but that's kind of like my overall allergy sort of, or how I discovered I had allergies. So
Wow, what a journey. So I don't know if you're like me, but when I was a teenager, like my food allergies were not part of my identity. I didn't really mention them. They were just a thing. I was known for other things. Basketball, I tried, but what made you get to this point of teenager to where you are now? Were you in that same boat where you embraced them like you do now, or was there a period in between of getting to this very empowered educational advocate in the community?
that's a really good question. I really think I had the exact opposite experience as you
Oh,
as a teen. It wasn't that I wanted to be my identity, but I was just known as the girl with all the allergies because, especially during high school, I mean, middle school, this happened too, but it wasn't until high school that was really bad, where I was having anaphylactic reactions all the dang time. Like, and the ambulance would come, and everyone's like, "Oh, I guess that's for Mia," and usually it was. And so because I also went to a very small middle school and high school, so because of that, gossip spreads, everyone knows everything about you. So everyone just kind of knew that I was the girl with all the allergies. And so I would get bullied and picked on a lot during like in class from my classmates. People would joke about sneaking nuts into my food and seeing what happens. I used to carry around this allergy list that listed every single allergen that I have, and this girl in my chemistry class like took the list, stood up and read the list in front of everyone and was like laughing at it, making fun of it. So unfortunately, as much as I wanted to not let it be part of my identity, people like knew me for that. So because of it, it really just affected my mental health for a very long time. So it wasn't really until I saw a food allergy psychologist around like right around before COVID hit that she really changed my life to help me kind of just embrace this part of myself because it affects my daily life in every single way. So that's kind of how it was for me in that realm, if that answers your
yeah.
question. Um,
Absolutely. And now you've turned this corner and you are very public with your food allergies and you have an incredible online presence. Your social media channels are buzzing. But I could only imagine like who's laughing now? You give so much support to so many people. What drives you to be an advocate, a content creator, all of these titles that you wear? That are deeply appreciated by the allergy community.
yeah, thank you. I mean, I think first of all, I just feel so honored to have this online presence. I think a lot of it's kind of luck, and I just feel really grateful that I've been able to gain this presence and be able to use it to help other people. Because at the end of the day, having food allergies is so hard, and that's kind of why I want to be able to do this work to make others, not feel as alone, that they don't have to suffer, that they can live a great life. And so I would say that this whole allergy presence I built was kind of an accident. Like I wasn't actually intending on being an allergy advocate. I was posting on TikTok back in like before COVID hit, and then right around before COVID hit, I posted a video where I listed my top allergies to some silly little like Teen Beach movie song. I was like dancing to it and listing it, and it got over like almost 1 million views overnight. And I posted that video because I felt so alone. Like I was at like a very low point in my life where I was just like, no one seems to understand except for my family. Like nobody else gets me. Because even when I would go to different allergy like teen conferences, people at these conferences would have maybe one or two allergies, and I have like this laundry list. I was like, even in my own community, I did not feel like I belonged, and I wanted to feel like I belonged somewhere and meet people that were like me. So when I posted that video, a lot of the comments were from people who said, "Oh my gosh, I have these exact same allergies as you. Like, I don't feel as alone." I was like, "Wow, like it's not just me." And so when I told my parents, like, "Mom, Dad, this video went mega viral, like Mia, this could be a chance for you to meet other people just like you. You can advocate, educate because there's a lot of misinformation." And so I kind of just use that as my fuel to keep going. And now about 6, 7 years later, it's become this whole thing. And so what keeps me going every day is the fact that I'm making others feel less alone because I knew what it felt like to be alone, and I don't want others to go through what I have to go through. So that's kind of what keeps me going and doing this work.
Amazing. And it's really great to see your evolution. You've started with obviously with TikTok videos and great content that people really relate to, but now you're turning this corner into psychology and really into the brain and how all of this plays out in terms of anxiety and different fears and how to become empowered over allergy. You're doing a master's now of clinical psychology. What got you
Yeah.
into that? Where you got into a podcast called the Food Allergy Brain, which is just fascinating because that's a wild place, I'll tell you. And
Oh, yeah.
What got you down to this new avenue?
Yeah, so in terms of psychology, again, I would say around my sophomore year of college, I was attending a film and marketing school. So I wasn't even intending on pursuing psychology. That was not even on my radar. I was like, I'm gonna do film and marketing because my TikTok is doing well. I can do marketing and that's something I like and I'm good at. But then I started to see a lot of comments of people saying how to cope with the anxiety of food allergies. Like I have so much trauma after anaphylaxis. Like, what do I do? And I'm like, wow, it seems like this is a common occurrence in this population of people. And if I, at the time I was at a place now where I was more embracing of my allergies and not feeling as insecure about it because I was seeing that psychologist for so long. And so I was like, I would love to be able to provide that kind of service and help people because I kind of, one, live with this challenge, so I understand it, and two, I've been able to gain the skills of how to cope with it. And three, I honestly would like to see because there's not a lot, there's research being done on in this space, but not enough. And I think there's a really big need because, at least in America, there's 33 million Americans that have food allergies. And I don't quote me on this, but I believe around at least like 60% of people that have food allergies experience some sort of mental health, like anxiety, like symptoms or trauma because of their food allergies. That's more than half of people, which is a lot. So, I made the last minute switch of applying to some universities that had psychology degrees. I was like, I want to understand psychology more because the school I was at the time not really, I had like a minor in it, but not an actual like full degree in psychology. So when I transferred to where I went to NYU for my undergrad, I studied psychology and I got involved in some allergy kind of research. I was like, okay, this is definitely something I'm really interested in pursuing. And it wasn't until, this podcast was kind of a very last minute random thing that I was intending on doing. Like, I wanted to have a podcast. I had different attempts, but nothing really worked. And also having a podcast as someone like myself who I actually am pretty introverted, which people are very shocked by that, but I'm actually very like I like my me time and stuff. So, having a platform or having like a thing like a podcast where you're just talking and having to do that is a lot for me. But a colleague of mine at a lab that I manage suggested like you should do a podcast. Like you should make a podcast to educate people on the mental health side of allergies. I was like, oh my gosh, like why did I even think of that? And so I kind of just ran with it and was thinking of what are some good like names. I'm like, food allergy brains. You know what? We think differently if you food allergies. Like we feel like we see the world differently than someone that doesn't have allergies. And I want to be able to have a name that kind of embodies that and use it as a way to one provide more accessible information for all because I think that there is information online, but one, it's either misinformation or two, it's just like there's not enough of it. And I want to be able to provide a service where where I can have doctors and psychologists come on and provide the most up-to-date research on interventions, new treatment options, and just showing again that you can live a great life with allergies and that there is a lot of hope in this space. So that's a very long answer to your
I love it.
question, but kind of
Well, and I
how I
love that
have.
you have so many incredible guests, very credible, great professionals, doctors. But what I'm really curious of is you and what you hope to contribute to the space of food allergy mind and psychology because you live with this for a long, long time, and you get it. And I'm curious of, are you seeing already gaps now that you're getting deeper into it and things that you would like to really contribute to the space?
Yeah, I definitely see a lot of gaps. I think there's different avenues we can go with on this topic, but I think in terms of just allergy intervention and research is just there's not a lot of literature, especially on is I'm undergoing oral immunotherapy or OIT, which for those that maybe are not aware of what it is, it's like a basically how I describe it is you're microdosing your allergens every single day with the long-term goal of being able to eventually either build a tolerance to it or maybe even eat it freely if you're really hoping to go that far. And I think that this is a really amazing option, but there's not a lot of information about how it affects like because most people that do this treatment are toddlers and children, not really adults like myself. And so I want to understand that experience and how we can best support more adult populations because I think that there's a lot of pediatric research which I think is really super important, but also allergies affect all stages of life. And I think when you're an adult it's really hard because you are navigating like a 9 to 5 job, probably relationships or dating, um traveling, like all the things, and just how can we make people's lives easier? How can we find interventions to help people feel more empowered in their allergies. And one other thing that is not researched enough that I'm really fascinated about getting into is just the implications or what happens after you go into anaphylaxis, like that trauma that happens and how it kind of just alters the way you view your body and how you don't really trust your body anymore. How you feel like your body kind of just like betrayed you in a way because anaphylaxis is so out of your control. You can't stop it unless you use epinephrine, which you obviously have to do. But also a lot of people experience eating disorders because of, this fear. And so we don't want that to happen when people to feel like they can still trust themselves and trust the food that they can eat.
Yeah.
And so finding interventions to help that population too, something that is a very urgent need and concern of mine in this community. So I'm kind of hoping to eventually, pursue a doctorate in psychology and be able to find these interventions, but also work with actual patients and talk to them and, help them feel. Because again, like I get it. I was in their shoes and I feel like I've kind of overcome that hurdle. I want to be able to help others overcome that too, because
Amazing.
yeah, so I think mindset is everything.
I
So,
wish you all the success with that. It's a very noble quest ahead, and I could talk food allergy psychology all day with you. Maybe someday
yes.
we'll get the treat, but what we're here for, which is really cool, is that we're collaborating. This is
Yeah.
happening. You are spending August with our cards, and you're going to be posting a little bit of content, which is really cool. And I know you've already posted a whole bunch about Equal Eats in the past, which we really, really appreciate. But what can people expect to see from you in August as your our official trailblazer for the month?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm just so honored to be the trailblazer for August. I mean, I've been a huge fan of Equal Eats since I discovered your products. Like, I truly feel like, we discussed before we recorded this, just your carbs especially have been such a game changer with traveling. And so, I'm going to Holland in August. So I am going to be filming, how I use my allergy chef card in a place where they don't speak English as a primary language. I mean, they do speak English, they do, but overall, I think it's easier to have it in their native language. And so I think just showing how you can travel and eat out, especially somewhere where they don't really always speak English, and how the Equal Eats card make life so much easier. I also want to also do a post about just how you can travel or like what the steps you need to take to travel safely. I think that, you know, people with food allergies, a lot of my community will come to me and say like I can't travel, like I'm too scared to because of the language barrier. And I'm like, have you even heard of Equal Eats? Like, have you heard of these cards? Because I'm telling you, all you have to do, go to the restaurant, sit down, order, give them the card, and they know what to do. They know that, and it saves life so makes life so much easier. So I'm really excited to kind of showcase how I travel, like really more in depth. And also just showing that you can eat out in general, even in the US, no matter where you live, that you can eat out with allergies as long as you are communicating it effectively and having the Equal Eats card to really just showcase like the seriousness of how your allergies, like how serious they are, and then just being able to. And I also just think too, I think it's just sorry, can you like cut this per hour? I'm like kind of like
All good.
stuck. Um, but yeah, I think overall just kind of showing that you have that you can do quote unquote everyday people things like eating out and having
Absolutely.
this card is it like that's what really just opened up so many doors for me to eat out and to try new things that usually I might have been too nervous or scared to do prior.
And
So I
appreciate
showcase
the
that.
support. And like from our side, we're thrilled because we get to share your content and it empowers our community, who often we hear the same things. We're afraid. We used to travel before the diagnosis, and you're someone that is a shining light that's going out there and saying it can be done. I can travel. This doesn't need to be a limitation. Of course, there's safety things to be mindful about and procedures and prep. But you are very inspiring to a lot of people. So we're very, very happy to showcase your stories and all of the very cool content that's coming up in August. So really appreciate it. Really looking forward to it. So with all of our trailblazers, we have the five lightning round questions. Really, really quick. Just gonna toss them out.
Right.
What is your favorite food?
I think can I do cuisine? Is that okay? Because I
Yeah.
can't pick one specific item. My favorite cuisine, it kind of rotates, but right now I love Mexican food. I've been so obsessed with tacos. Like I've probably gotten tacos 3 times in the past week, which is like
Not
I'm not against that. I'm not complaining. Like I love tacos. We have a
judging.
lot of Mexican food in New York City. Like how can I not? So I think Mexican cuisine is probably my favorite.
Nice. What's your favorite drink?
I really like, wait, hold on, pause. Is this alcoholic, non-alcoholic? I want to make sure that I'm keeping it PG.
It's whatever is you.
I'll do non-alcoholic just to keep it PG for the youth. I would say my current favorite drink, and the thing is, they don't have this in the US. It's only in Europe. So once I'm in Holland, I will be getting it every day, which is the Starbucks Cool Lime Refresher. They discontinued it in the US. It's like this like limeade tea drink and it's the most delicious thing ever and they released it when I was in middle school and then they just discontinued it for no reason and I was like so heartbroken because it was my favorite drink ever but then I was just in Scotland 2 weeks ago and they had it so I got it basically every single day. That's my favorite drink I would say is the Starbucks
Awesome.
Cool Lime Refresher. They probably have it where you are, I'm
We don't
guessing.
have
Like
Starbucks.
you don't? Oh,
No, they're
maybe
not in every
they
country,
won't.
but yeah, I'm sure I'll be near one soon. Cool. Not equal eats, but what is your favorite travel accessory?
I gotta say, my favorite travel accessory. Oh my God. Okay. This doesn't have to pertain to allergies. It can be kind of
Yep.
anything, right?
Anything, your go-to thing.
I'm I mean, this is like kind of silly, but it's my journal. I love to journal and I bring my journal everywhere I go. I mean, even when I go to a restaurant, like we were in Portland, Maine a few weeks ago and we were at a bar, my family, and I just was like in the corner just journaling. Like I
Awesome.
just love to have a little place to write down my feelings and like make like keep track of all my memories and things like that. I say my journal is like what I really think is like my travel accessory, just maybe
Oh,
kind of a silly one, but
that has so much more depth than neck pillow. I
I mean,
love
that
it.
too is great. That
Right?
too.
Yeah. What's your favorite travel activity?
Honestly, I love like one just trying new foods, just like eating at new restaurants is probably my favorite. I'm a big foodie. I love to eat food, but I think really it's just I think just walking and just kind of seeing where it takes you. Just kind of starting somewhere and then just walking down. Like for example, when I was in Toronto, actually when I was at the Free to Be Me conference, my family and I, we just like walked on this strip for like 2 hours. And it was just so awesome just seeing all these different restaurants, all these different
Yeah.
shops. It was like kind of unplanned. I think planning trips is so important, but I also love when you don't plan things and you have some time for just some explorations. I love just exploring and just seeing where my walking takes me. So that's my answer to that.
Toronto's a great city for that. And then what is your favorite country? This is a tough one. Favorite country you've traveled to so
I
far?
mean, is that gonna, oh, sorry, go ahead. What were you gonna
So
say?
far, 'cause I'm sure there's a
So
lot more.
far, I mean, it's gonna definitely be the Netherlands or Holland. I mean, this is gonna be my fourth time going, and it's my favorite place in the world. I just love the culture. I love how they have a really good work-life balance. They're a bit slower paced. There's not like a sense of urgency, but it's still a proper city. The architecture is beautiful, and the most important thing is that they're great with allergies. I've never had a single allergy problem when I'm there. They're so accommodating at every restaurant I've gone to, and the food is just incredible. So I'd say the Netherlands is probably my favorite.
Amazing. Unfortunately, you're going to miss all the tulip season. I think that's in the springtime.
No, I've missed it every time. I always go during
Another
like
trip.
the off season, which is
But
a problem. I have to go in March when they are act. I think it's in
I,
March or is it when they're
I'm not 100% sure, but
either
wish,
or.
wishing you safe travels and can't wait to follow your adventure as you go and hope it's great. And just wanted to thank you for being our trailblazer. We'll be sharing information all month. If people want more information, we'll post links and all of that. But thank you, Mia. Really appreciate your time today and looking forward to following along.
Thank you, Kyle, for having me on this interview and again for the opportunity to be a trailblazer. I'm so honored and so excited to showcase Equal Eats even more on my page.
You're awesome. All right. Thanks, Mia. Take care. Safe journeys.
Yay.